Which table should I import it to?
Sorry?
Which table should I import it to? Which table?
This is update set.
Okay.
I should have renamed it. Hang on. I think I had done that. Yeah. So what I have done is I have created few exercises into it, starting from exercise 1 to exercise 7. And I have added enough documentation into it as well. So these are in terms of UI pages. So when you import this, you will have to go into system UI and UI pages, and there you will find that several UI pages, 7 UI pages are created, and in each of the UI pages something is explained, right? So for example, the first UI pages, in this page what we have done is we have named it as exercise 1, right? And then in the HTML XML box you will see that I have just one text written here, hello world, and I am going to try it. So when I try it, this is what happens. It opens up the UI page for me and the text is written hello world. Okay, so without having any tag. See, what happens is when you start building a UI page, in that UI page you will see that there are some XML tags and some Jelly tags come up, right? There are some tags coming up. The first tag that you see is the XML tag, right? This one, the XML tag. Along with that, you have this Jelly tag available as well, right? Which is showing you that hey, these are the information involved into this. J::Jelly says that this is Jelly core tag that we have here, right? XML NS. So this is XML namespace, and it is saying that J refers to Jelly core. Similarly, XML NS G refers to glide object that we have into our system, right? These two we can ignore along with the trim. So it says that, hey, this is the jelly tag information that we have in. Any jelly script that we have to write will go between this. Our code will be between the opening jelly tag and the ending jelly tag that we have here, right? Anything that we write should go into it. Okay, you understand that? Now,
Yeah.
so that's by rule. You have to write in your jelly tags within that jelly tag that we have here. Right? So what I did is I removed all the XML tags and jelly tags and just typed in hello world and tried it, and it ran. Right? Meaning it gave us output. It means that even without that jelly tag output that we have, jelly tag that we have, we can write certain text and that can be run. Right? That is run. But then there are particular syntaxes that we'll be using to do certain stuffs into our UI pages. All right. Here is another example. In exercise 2, you will see that what we have done here is, hang on. What I've done is I have explained a bit here. In this UI page, you will see a lot of documentation is coming. I mean, I have kept certain documentation for you so you can refer it what I have done. So here's the thing. I have used this XML tag, which was there when we created that UI page. The jelly tag is also here, right? Here is how we document. Here is how we put comments into it, right? So you see, I have provided a comment here into this, which explains what we are doing, right? So here is the first text, the hello world that I wanted to write earlier. I have written between jelly tag now. It was outside jelly tag without any tag earlier, but now I have done is, within jelly tag I have written this hello world. See the output of it. The first thing that we see as the output when I run the UI page is hello world, right? So even if I write something into this jelly tag, that information will be displayed here. If I go here and I write in input type text, that would understand my HTML as well. So I'll go back here and I'll refresh it. So you can see that my text box is coming here, right? After hello world, I have my input type text wherein I can write something, right? So the objective is that this jelly tags would understand your HTML. This jelly tag would help your HTML to render, and while you do so, it will allow you to work using JavaScripts and using JellyScript variables. Hang on, this guy Srujan is pinging me.
I think he's online as well. Oh,
No,
it's just two of us.
there's two of us. He's always confused with the meeting IDs. Let me copy this. I don't know where it is. Please check last email. What is the meeting ID? I'm sorry about that, Sujan. Oh, Latif.
Yeah, that's fine.
501 632 773. All right. Okay, so you can see that, I am using that jelly tag, and within that jelly tag, I can use to create a, non-standard customized UI for myself. Right? I can have my, tables. I can have my all HTML tags, rendered in here, and that will get me certain value out of it. That will help me design a UI page. Few examples of UI page you can see. I'll show you. If you go to self-service page, these layout that you see here, the news, the quick links, these are actually in the
JavaScript.
code they have been designed using JellyScript, right? ServiceNow uses JellyScript a lot, right? A lot of JellyScript is used within ServiceNow. These sections that you see are created using JellyScript, right? In the background.
Wow.
The gs.add info message that you do, the gs.add error message that you do, those in the background, those are supported using jelly scripting, and
Wow.
stuff like that. So what I am doing here is, so it is saying, see, J is the core jelly tag, G is the ServiceNow defined namespace used in JellyScript. Now when we say J is the core jelly tag, what do we mean? Is Jelly something outside ServiceNow? Yes. JellyScript was created by Apache Foundation, right? Uh, and this is Apache Foundation's scripting language. Right? ServiceNow has used it, customized it for building application into ServiceNow platform, right? So if you go here and do Apache Jelly script, so here you will get that, right? This is Apache scripting language that you have. Jelly is the tool for turning XML into executable code. Right. So Jelly is a Java and XML based scripting and processing engine that can be used as a more flexible and powerful front end to end, and so on and so forth. There is a lot of stuff into it, right? So you can go ahead and do deep reading about JavaScript from the Apache Foundation website. Right. Here we go. So what we have done is we have used the Jelly code tag, we have used the Jelly service now defined namespace. Every jelly tag should be written between opening and closing jelly tags that we have talked about already. If it is written outside jelly tags, it will not be evaluated. Right? Any jelly tag, if you write between line number 2 and line number 17 here, for example, then it will be evaluated. If you write something after this jelly tag, closing jelly tag, it is not going to run. Right? This is what it is saying. Now see,
Okay.
when we do have this Jelly scripting here, and as we have seen earlier, that this helps HTML to render. This helps your HTML pages to render and turns it into executable code, right? So what happens is within it, you can use your JavaScripting. You can use your Jelly specific variables and all, right? So there are different types of tags that help you do that, right? For example, the first tag that we have here. We are clear on up to this point, right? Input text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let's go to the evaluate. So G evaluate, as we said earlier, that G is ServiceNow defined namespace. So whenever we are using G, understand that this G is going to be a ServiceNow defined namespace. This is not Jelly core tag, right?
Yeah.
So here we are using G evaluate, and within G evaluate, what we are doing is we are creating an array of words, array of strings.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see here where words is a array of string that I have created, and it contains three values right now: hello, jelly, world. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, this is a documentation I have kept for you. It says words above is array of a string. This is regular JavaScript being used here. This will be used by Jelly code tag using Jexel. Right. So Jexel is Java expression language. Jelly uses
Okay.
that. Java expression language is something that Jelly uses. This is nothing but something that you are doing here using dollar curly braces words. So what we have done is we
Mm-hmm.
have our words variable defined here, and now we are using that into Jelly core. You can see that we are now using J for age. So I am iterating through all the elements that we have into this item words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we do so, I am taking a local variable jvar underscore word. So wherever you see this variable starting with jvar, it means that this is a Jelly variable. The word that you see here is not a Jelly variable because we do not have a jvar appended to it, right? So this is specific to the evaluate tag, and this is a JavaScript variable that you have defined here. Jvar is JellyScript variable that we have will be using it later, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I have done in this very simple example is that you have an array of strings, hello, jelly, world here, and the array of string is words. That's it. Close the jelly g evaluate tag here. After we close it, we want to use from the ServiceNow g namespace the variable that we have here words. I want to use that into ServiceNow core tag that we have here, right? So we have to connect this G evaluate with J for each,
J.
right? So for that, what I'm doing is J colon for each because I have to iterate through all three items that I have into this array, and then I
Mm-hmm.
am keeping a local variable J var underscore word, and I'm iterating on items, items which is equal to dollar curly braces words. So if you see, what I'm actually doing is I am doing for if you see for each number in numbers, uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember
Angular.
from different programming language, this is how we use for each loops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And within that, we iterate through, something like this. If whatever we can do, if number equals something,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, you do something else. Right? This is how you do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for each. So similar ways is to use for each in Jelly scripting language, and in UI pages we'll be doing this. We will be using the J core tag for each, and here we'll be using that. And if you see, I'm iterating through it, and when I iterate through it, what I'm doing is I'm picking up the number from it. Like do something else, I could do like print number. Okay, this number. So I have an array of numbers. So you can see this numbers in plural, and I am talking about each individual number out of that numbers, and I'm iterating through it, right? And then finally I'm printing the number. So in this example of Jelly, we are doing this. We're just doing this. We are iterating through all the numbers. Or let's say I am going to write something like for words. in forward in words print word. This is what we're doing. This is as simple as that. So it is general for each looping that we have, and I'm looping through it and I'm printing it out in the p tags. So p tags are the paragraph tags that we have, and within using that paragraph tag, I'm going to print it onto the screen. This is what I'm doing. So here we go. Let me save it. I'm just writing something else to differentiate it. Okay, let's refresh this page. Okay, I'll have my BR tag applied here, so a new line is displayed. BR tag. Now this is again a JavaScript, HTML tag that I have, BR, which is a new line, and I'm applying this new line tag here. I can do a bold as well to make it a little bit different. I'm going to save this. After saving, I'm refreshing it. So what do we have here? The first hello world. This hello world comes from where? This hello
From
world.
the array.
Yeah, no, the first hello world that I have is not coming from the array. It is coming
Oh,
from the text that we have written.
yeah, my bad. It is the hello that came from
Yeah,
the array. Sorry.
line number 7. So line number 7 corresponds to this hello world is getting displayed here. You see this? Line number 7 is getting
Right.
displayed here. Then we have the input text box. We are displaying it here. Then we have this line of equals you see here. Then we have this arrow, we have this array, but we are not printing it here. So this is processed. Then we go to J for each, and then we are iterating through it. So this is array contains hello jelly world, right? So what we have done is in the first pass, we will print this 0th element, which is hello. So this hello, we print using J bar here. This will go and be printed onto the screen, hello. The next time, the next iteration, jelly keyword is coming. So this will again go and jelly will be printed. Third time, world will be printed. Again, jvar will print world. See this? Understand that, what we are doing?
Yeah. But I have a question.
Hmm.
Right? The items that we evaluate to word, right? That one is coming from the var words, right? It's coming from the array.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah. So this var j var word, then this var j var word. I know you said that is for jelly
That is jelly variable.
jelly. Okay, that is jelly variable, right? So in this var, we wrote var equal to string j var word. So the j var word is jelly variable, right?
Yes, jvar word
So
is jelly variable. That's right.
okay, okay. So it is this j var word that now hold the value for the item.
The jvar variable is
I
now
mean this
holding
j
values
var.
for these items. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the items.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So see, let me draw this. What I'm doing is my values are strings are there into the words variable that I have, right? I have to read through these strings one by one. So I'll read hello first. So when I read hello, this words value is getting passed into this JXL that we have. This is known as Java Expression Language, JXL we talked about. So we are passing that value to JXL here, $words. And now from, all these values are getting displayed here. Hello, jelly, world, everything is going to this words variable that we have here, the JXL. Now we are iterating through every element into the JXL, right? So the first element in the JXL can be iterated, and using this jvar word, we are printing it. So you see this?
Right.
jvar word. So first time we looped it through it, we printed hello. Second time we loop through it, we print Jelly. Third time, world. Fourth, Rahul. Fifth, Rakesh. I just altered this list, right? Now let's do that. Let me refresh this page and see if all of these names get printed as well.
So, Rahul, I have a question. I have a question here.
Hmm.
Hello? Yeah, what is this the J var underscore word in the paragraph that is replacing, we are printing, right? That's what you said. We're printing the words.
This is a
That's what it
variable.
is doing.
This is a variable.
Okay. J var underscore word
Yeah.
and the paragraph
This
below.
is a Jelly variable.
So it's a Jelly variable. Okay. But what it is do, like we are
It's a
replacing the
variable. It
words for
contains
the,
of certain values. Variables will
yeah.
always hold certain values that you can use for calculations, right? So what I'm telling you right now, the array of strings that you have here into G evaluate ServiceNow G namespace, if you want to utilize that into Jelly core script, core tag that we have, you will be doing using Jelly variable. I have used this Jelly
Okay.
variable here, and using that Jelly variable, I am printing that using the J core tag that I have. Right? This is what
Okay.
it is doing.
Okay. So the print actually the words will happen from items is equal to dollar words, or the array of names will be printed from the items is equal to dollar words, or it is printing from the paragraph J word
Clearly,
underscore
you are
word.
not listening what I'm saying. That is something that I was showing by drawing this diagram. What
Right,
I'm
right.
doing is, your words are here into this array of words. When you write your
Okay.
tags, this whole array is passed to this Excel here into this
Right.
items, and you iterate
I
through
got it.
all the items into this items. When you
Right.
iterate through it, you keep a local variable jvar word, and using that jvar word we are printing it. So we are iterating through it, number one, number two, number three. So how many, the number of elements that we have into that array, we will be iterating that number of times. So the number of times we
Okay.
iterate through it, the value of this jvar word is changing, because the first time it iterates,
Mm-hmm.
it is having the value of hello, second time jelly, third world, and last Weber, right? So it is
Okay.
iterating through it, it is changing its values, and it is, as it changes its value, it is printing onto the screen. This is what
Okay.
it is doing.
All right. Okay. I got it. Yeah. Now it makes sense. Yeah. Thank you, Rahul.
You're welcome. Now see, with each of these UI pages, I have given the UI page link as well. So when you import that into your instance, just replace the base URL with your instance URL and run it. So it should be running your UI page here. Or you can go to the UI page and try it, right? Both ways are possible. Your choice how you want to do it. This is another example I just showed you, right? Now, if you are doing this, let me go to the another example. The third one, what we are doing here, we are trying to evaluate some Jexel expressions, right? See, we talked about that Jexel in our example where we did use dollar, curly braces, and certain variable into it, like dollar words. Okay,
Right.
this is used to evaluate something within JellyScript, right? So now let's look into certain Jexel expressions, right? And certain Jelly core, core tags as well. Another core tag that we are going to use here is JSet, right? The Jelly set uh, tag that we use to set certain value into a variable. Okay, so see what I'm doing. Again, the rules remain the same. It is not changing. Any Jelly script that you have to write, you will be writing within the opening Jelly tag. and
Right.
closing jelly tag only.
Closing jelly tag.
If you write anything outside this jelly, that will not be processed. Okay, keep everything within that jelly tags that we have. Then we have this h3 that comes from HTML, and u, which is underlined. So I have this h3 and underline tag implemented in here. I'll copy this. Let me go back here onto this screen. I am going to run this. When I run this, this is the example. This is the output that I am getting here. Okay, we will try to see what we are doing. So again, this is not using any standard ServiceNow UI, right? We have customized it. We are using ServiceNow platform, but we have customized it. We are creating a UI page here using JellyScript. We are designing it differently, right? My text is written differently. Different layout is here. You can have your own CSS as well here to change the look and feel of it, right? So this is different.
So
Yes, go ahead.
okay. Now, if we want to put CSS, is it going to be in the same box, or there is another table for CSS, or just that same place?
There are concepts of having the CSS included inline, as well as you can import your CSS into ServiceNow, and then you can make it
Okay.
a reference here. I'll show you an
Okay.
example.
Okay.
All right, so the first line is regular HTML. The output we can see here. You can do a lot with JXL expression. JXL is JavaScripting expression language. Okay. Now the next variable that I'm using is jset, which is used to set a value. So you can see here I have two variables that I have created, jvar count and jvar bool. Again, I have appended jvar underscore to count and bool, which signifies that these are going to be jelly variables. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
jelly variable count and jelly variable bool. The jelly variable count variable will contain a value of 5. This is something I am setting, and value equals
Okay.
true for bool is something that I am setting here, right?
Okay.
Remember, the jset tag is always required to be
Set.
terminated, right? This is setting a value, but you have to terminate it by this / at the end. See this,
Okay.
right? You can also do something like, if you remove this, you can also, hang on, you can also do something like j:set. You can close it like this as well, but that would take an extra line, right? So I prefer to use this. Okay, so I have set two variables, jvar count and jvar bool. Now I'm going to the next one. This JXL would have certain operators into it, right? You can have equal operator, the greater than, less than operators. The regular programming languages, we have our operators like greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, something like this, not equal to. These are our operators. This JXL uses similar operators. You can use that operator along with the short forms, these running text that we have here. So you can see I have another core tag that I'm using here, which is jif. So this is if conditional if that we are using, but since we have to use that into Jelly, so we have to use j:f. So we are doing it here, j:f, to check if test, and test is a variable that we are keeping here. That's a local variable, and we are doing this JXL expression here. So whenever you confront this dollar curly braces, it means that we are evaluating JXLs. So you can see the JXL we are doing here is jvar count not equal to 5. This is the check that we are doing. So this is similar to what we are doing here. If jvar underscore count not equal to 5, this is the check that we are doing. So this has been translated to something like this.
NE.
So I just removed this operator and I am applying this any, right? So this is not equal to 5. This is equivalent to what you have here. Okay? So this is what we have done. So when this is the case, what it is going to do, this is going into this loop and it will print count is not equal to 5. Will it be printed? Will this line be printed?
If count is not equal to 5, it is equal to 5, so it won't be printed.
It won't be printed. So let's go back and see
Yeah.
our page. No, it is not printed, which is correct. Okay. We have count is less than or equal to 5. So this is another message that we have here. Okay. So it's different. That's right. Now let's go back. Another test. If test j var less than equal to 5. If it is less than equal to 5, it is going to print. Less
Yes,
than
it
and
will.
equal to. This will print. Count is less than or equal to 5. Let's go back and see. Count is less than or equal to 5. Correct? Next. If test equal j var less than 5. Is this correct? This is false. This is not going to be printed. We do not have count is less than 5.
Right.
If test j var equal 5. I use the regular operator. Count is 5. Here we go. Count is 5 is printed.
Yes.
Okay. Now again, what I'm doing is I'm doing jset var jvar plus 1, another local variable that I have created. And in this, what I'm doing is the value jxl, and I am adding jvar count plus 1. I just added 1 to this jvar variable that we set earlier. We had 5 value into this. Now I'm adding 1 to it, and after adding it, I just wrote 2 lines here. And if I add 1 to jvar count, see, and if I add 1 to jvar count is 5. So now look at this. The statement that we have, this line corresponds to this line, right? And this jvar count is corresponding to the value 5. And this jvar plus 1 is corresponding to value 6.
Right.
A jvar plus is defined here, right? And jvar plus 1 evaluates this jxl that we have here, jvar count plus 1, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Jvar count plus 1 equals 6. This value is passed on to jvar plus 1 variable that we have here. This variable is used here, and output of it is getting displayed here as 6.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Let's move on to the next line. And. So here is the line, here is the value and. So this and starts here. And jvar plus 1, since jvar plus 1 holds the value of 6, it is printing 6. Divided by 3, which is right, equals jvar plus 1, and another operator that we have used is slash, which is division operator. Alright,
Okay.
so within this jxl, I have used division operator, I have used the plus operator, I have used equal operator, I have used LT operator, any operator, GT operator, all those operators I have used. And you see this output here. Okay, let's move to the next. If test equals jvar bool, meaning jvar bool contains true. So here, whenever we evaluate boolean, we see if it is true or false. I do not have to write explicitly jvar bool equals true, although that would work as well. But jvar bool, just jvar bool here says that it is checking for true value. So if the value set above for jvar bool is true, then it will print boolean is true. And that is the result here. Since we set the value as true earlier, the value boolean is true is getting printed here. The next one will not be printed because we do not have that value as false. I have used this negation operator here, you can see. This is the negation operator, negation of jvar bool, right? So this is how we have used jxl expressions. Using jelly variables, I have applied certain jxl expression here. I have shown you how to use jxl operators. So, when you design your UI page, you will be using these jxls and you will be doing those operations using those jxls, those variables. Make sense?
Okay, so it does. So in this case, for example, if we want to, we can use the glide system in here as well, and we can use the glide record, right?
We are coming to that. Just don't
Okay.
just don't run away. We are coming to that topic. Let's move to the next topic. Now we will talk about glide record tags. Let me run this example into another browser here. Okay, so let me first show you the output of it. The output is all incidents from the incident table, and I am printing the incident number and short description. See this? Incident number and short description. Incident number, short description. See this? And those are getting printed into a table. So this is the output. Now this is incident from my table. So meaning if you are fetching incident from your table, you are doing some sort of glide records here, right? Because the data is lying into the table, incident table, and I am fetching it within UI page. This is a UI page. You can see it here. Exercise 4.do. This is a UI page I have, and I am fetching value from the ServiceNow incident table and printing it onto the UI page. Let's see what we have done. And also there is one more thing. See, Jelly would always work in a particular order, right? So it is the Jelly script will be evaluated in the order of top to bottom. For example, the tags or the scripts that you write in first position will be evaluated first, and then the second one, right? So if you are evaluating certain tag, make sure any variable that you have used is defined before that tag, not after that tag, right? If you do that, that will not be evaluated. It will show you some errors. It will say that the variable is not defined or something like that. Okay? That's another rule. Now remember, let's look
So
into
we
the.
have to define it. I have a question.
Yeah, define it before using it.
Always G2 should be defined before.
Not
I mean,
G2, not G2. I'm not talking about G2. I'm talking about any other variable. If you are using any variable somewhere, define
okay.
it before using that. Do not define it
Okay.
after using that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now coming back to database calls, to make database calls from UI page using JellyScript. Now when we have to use database calls, we have to make database calls, we have to make use of glide records. Glide record is ServiceNow specific. It is not related to Jelly. So for this, what we have done is we talked about earlier, ServiceNow has written a namespace known as G namespace that you can see here, right? So this G space refers to this glide tag, glide APIs, right? So whenever we have to make database calls, we'll be using this G to evaluate, right? So this is what we are doing so I have used this G to evaluate tag from G namespace, right? And here we have done a simple glide record that you may see, where gr equal new glide record incident, gr.add query, active equals 1, and gr.query. That's it. So we queried it, but we are not printing anything here, right? This is for evaluation of our glide records only. And so we evaluated and we are left with that, right? Now I wanted to show that into a table. Whatever result I retrieved, I wanted to show that into a table. So for that, what I did is I used this HTML table that you see here. This is a table. See, I have a table width is 50%. Let's make it 100%. Let's go back and refresh this page. The table width is now 100%. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, so what I have done is I have created a table, right? In the table you see this is active incidents, and you can see I have this TR, table row, the first row which is containing active incidents. So you can see I have this tr, and here I have applied this class header. So this is coming from a CSS that we have already here. Let me add one more thing here. I'll be adding one more tr, and within this I'll be adding one td and another td.
What is the stand for, Rahul? I forgot. TD and TR.
This is basic HTML, Shujan. This
Yeah, I know,
is
but I forgot what it stands for.
TD is table cell, table data.
Tables. Okay. And TR is try
Table row.
table. Table. Okay.
There is no escape, Sujan. You will have to read HTMLs and JavaScript. You cannot escape without doing these HTMLs and JavaScript. You have to work on that. You must do that. Otherwise, you are in trouble. Here we go. I now have incident number and short description row. Let me add this class here as well. I'll copy this, and to this tr I'll apply class header. So the look and feel of this row will also change a bit. Here we go. Now I just decorated my table here. Let me name it. So before I have this table, I'll do something like, let's say I apply h4, and I'm writing active incidents from my incident table. Right, let's go back and refresh this. So I'm just customizing my page a little bit. You can see active incidents from my incident table. All right. I don't want to follow ServiceNow standard UI. That's the reason I have my UI page designed, and I'm doing so. I am designing my UI page myself, right? I am having my own controls here, right? So you can see this is my regular h4 tag, HTML tag. Then this is my table table tag from HTML, and within that table I have table rows. So many rows are created, and then columns are also here, and each rows would contain table cell, and within that table cell we'll have our table data. So this is what we are having. So for that I have done table, table row again. Within that table row I have this td. The first td I have done call span 2 to make it a single cell here in the first row. In the second, I have incident cell and the short description cell you may see here. Then after doing that, what I have done is I have applied this J2 core tag, J2 while. That's the reason, that is because I wanted to iterate through each of the value that I am getting from the GR that we have used here, right? So earlier we used to do while gr.next. The same thing we have to do here in JellyScript. This is what we are doing. J2 while, and just use this test as a variable, and I'm doing Jexel again, $gr.next. So it is iterating through all the items that I have into glide record variable. Then into that, what I have done is I have created one more tr and then two tds. In the first tr we are doing get value number. In the second tr we are doing short description, right? If I have to add one more column, let's say if I have to add, let me do this. I will td incident state. So I'll go here, I'll add td dollar close td, Within it, I'll do gr.getValue, and I'll simply write state. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Let's save it. So by doing so, what I'm doing is I'm ensuring that I add one more column here that will show us the state value. Let's see if we are able to do so. Here we go. See this? Incident state is coming. All right. Or let's keep this as caller. I want to show some text here. Caller.
So Rahul, once you type the instance state, that would automatically take it out from ServiceNow and put it in the output. Automatically does it?
Say that again.
I know, like we put the code and you put the instance state, right? And you automatically got the numbers, results, whatever you want, what state of the incident it is. So
See,
it automatically.
nothing is happening automatically. It is getting done using this glide record. You are making a glide
Okay.
record call to the incident table.
Right.
You are getting
Okay.
everything out from the incident table.
Okay.
Right? I'm using that glide record from the incident table, and then I'm using those variables here onto the form.
Oh, okay. 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 I got it.
Let me see the
Thank you.
caller variable has a different name, I think. The field name. I don't remember the field name. Let me go here. Caller should be caller. I don't know why it is not picking value from here. Caller ID. Okay. So caller underscore ID.
So I know that earlier we were using the what's it called? The expression, is it curly bracket, or what's it called? We are using the curly one, and why are we using this what's it called again? This bracket. Why are we
Yes.
using this? Is it because it is array?
No. So
Okay.
there's a concept of phases in ServiceNow Jelly scripting.
Okay.
I'll tell you. So this is a phase 2 item. Hang on.
Okay.
Here phases, yeah. So usually there are two phases indicated by namespaces J and versus J2,
Oh.
G and versus G2. The
Okay.
namespaces without 2 happen the first phase of processing, and these are cached except when used in a UI page. Those with 2 are never cached. So see, you are making a database call and you don't want your data to be cached. That's the reason you have this J2 tag
J2.
appended here. If you do not,
Okay.
if you do want these data to be cached, then you will be using J, right?
Okay.
I don't want this data to be cached. I want it to be fresh every time I make a hit from the database. I want to do that as is. Okay? So when we are using phase 2 items, we will be using this, bigger brackets. Otherwise, when we are doing phase 1 items, we'll be using curly brackets.
Okay. Okay, that's clear now.
Yeah. So those with 2 are never cached. Care must be taken when selecting whether to use phase 1 or phase 2 for efficiency and correct results. In addition to the namespaces, the syntax used to insert values into static variables differs depending on which phase is to supply the value. A dollar with a brace surrounding a value inserts a value in phase 1. See this? In curly brace, dollar with a curly brace and the variable name. This is a phase 1 item which will be cached.
Right.
A
Which will be
dollar with
cached.
a dollar with brackets surrounding a value, insert the value in phase 2. So that's the reason you see this bigger bracket, right?
Right.
Dollar, bigger bracket, JVAR reference. This is a variable, right? So this is the
Okay.
difference of phases. If you want to cache it, you will have it in phase 2. Otherwise, you will have it in phase 1.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Let me see if we can do get display. value and make it work. Let's save it and see if the output is coming here. Okay, that is not working. Hang on. Sometimes I remember some of the functions and I forget some of the functions, and then I have to refer it here. Get display value, glide record.
Sometimes it's very hard to remember functions all.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Get display value. Come on. This is the same. Current.was get display value. I'll not be bothered about that. We can find some other alternative if it doesn't work. I'll live with it right now. My focus is to work on GUI pages, so I'll live with it.
Right.
Yeah, you will find a way out of that. Let me refresh this. Now we will have our sysids of the caller IDs. You can find it here. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Now if I say you understand this piece, right? How we have made call
Yes,
to
yeah,
client
yeah.
record and how we created the table and passed those
Yes.
values into the tables. All
Yeah.
right.
To display the next records, all the records from the database. Yeah.
Let's go to the next exercise, exercise number 5. Sometimes what happens is we use tags anywhere without having knowledge of where should we using what tag, right? The
Right.
placement of tags should be right? Meaning you should not be mixing phase 1 item with phase 2 item or phase 2 item with phase 1 item, so on and so forth, because then we wrongly use wrong variables or wrong values, and then we mess it up, right? So this example shows you, some of these stuffs you can see here. We have this gevaluate tag that we have, and within this gevaluate we are using jvar title variable, right? This is jelly variable that we have because we have this jvar prefix appended to this title. Now another variable, local variable that I have here is var title equals users for, and I'm doing gs.getUser. Since this is this is phase 1 item, and I am willing to cache it. So users for gs.getUser.get first name. So logged in user is system administrator. And then I'm doing gs.getUser.get last name. And finally I am printing it, the title, whatever value that I have here. Right? Then in the G2, I am doing where users equals new glide record, sys user, and users.query. This time I have used G2. This is a phase 2 item, meaning I am not going to cache it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Going to be used in phase 2, and not caching it, right? And this one going to be used in phase 1 will be cached. Okay. All right. So here, what we have done is we have made a glide record call to the user table, sys user. All the users are retrieved, and then when we do this G2 evaluate, what I have done is I have added a tag, another tag here, which is paragraph tag, and within the paragraph tag, I am using Jexel JVAR title. Where is our JVAR title? The JVAR title is there into the phase 1. See this?
Phase 1. Yeah.
JVAR title. So whatever value that I have into this JVAR title, I am printing here, and I have appended this phase 1 item. Now after that, I have applied this J2 while, and I am using this users variable that we have here, the glide record, the users glide record, and I'm doing users.next, and I'm iterating through it, all the items, and I'm finally printing user colon user dot first name space user dot last name. Right? This is what we are doing. All right. Now see the first section, the first item that we print, the JVAR title will be cached item. Right? Let me go here, copy this, print it here. So I'm getting all the records from the user table. You can see it here. User Lucius Bagnoli, and all these stuffs are getting printed. Even before that, what we have done is users for system administrator phase 1 item. This is the text that we have printed using this line. See this?
Yeah.
Yes. So whenever I have a question, Rao. So whenever we try to print something, you always print it in the phase 2 only, or anything like that? Nothing like that. We have
No.
to print in phase 1 also.
See, the phase 1 item is also getting printed. The phase 2 item is also getting printed. You have to understand, when you have to persist the value, you have to keep it, you have to cache it, then you will be using phase 1. When you do not want to do so, you want to get fresh data from the database, and you do not want to cache it, you want to show as is, then you will be using phase 2 item.
Okay.
Both the tags are using evaluate, gevaluate,
Right.
and G2.evaluate, G2 colon evaluate.
Phase 1 and phase 2.
Phase 1 and phase 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay.
All right. What if I copy this item from here and paste it here? Will it work? Is it going
No.
No.
JVAR title we are using before defining it. Let's see if we can make it work.
Tier 1. Yeah, we are using tier 1.
Let's go here and refresh. It did not print anything. It just printed phase 1 item because there was nothing into this JVAR title that we have here. See this? It just printed phase 1 item out of that. JVAR title does not have anything because the JVAR title variable is not defined.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
that is something that I was telling you. If you have to use a variable, define it first, then use it.
Okay.
Are we clear on this?
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are clear.
So, what do you think? This seems easy, right?
This seems easy. Yes. This is. See, it becomes difficult if you do not read it properly and you jump on to understanding the JellyScript. Uh, uh, you know, the explanation makes it easy.
Easy, yeah.
You have the dots now. When you create a UI page, you will have to connect those dots, All those information, the JavaScripting, the HTMLs, the XML, the Jelly, the Jelly core, and the G namespace, along with the Jexel. You have to use all of these to create your UI pages, right? So we have done examples which look like easy, but sometimes it may get complex, right? And you may face challenges in finding out ways to get out of it, how to utilize it, how to debug it, how to find out those values, etc. So that is something that you'll be doing. Otherwise, everything in the world is easy because somebody has done it already.